Today, this week we've been talking about extraordinary things. Everything we talked about has been extraordinary, obviously, with Jesus, and that's pretty much all we talked about, because he's the most extraordinary guy I've ever seen. But today I'm going to show you, we talked about a couple of other extraordinary people. 3 of them will be in the Old Testament. First one we're going to talk about is Abraham. Abraham was told that he was going to be the father of many nations. And if you look up in the stars and you try to count them, that's how many descendants he has, or he's had. So God told him, and he basically was the guy in the day. In Genesis 22:1, it says, "Some other time later, God tested Abraham. He said to him, 'Abraham, here I am,' he replied. There was no, 'Yes, Lord, I guess. What do you need now?' There was no, 'Yeah, what do you need? All right, I can do this.' No, it was, 'Here I am.'" In Genesis 22:12, after, okay, let me start by this. God told Abraham to take his son that he had at a very old age. He was very old, the child was very young. He said, "Take the boy up to the mountain and sacrifice him to me." And God already said that he was going to be the father of many nations through this child, or through a child. He was like, "All right, I guess this isn't the one. Let's go and sacrifice my only son." And Abraham did. He didn't sacrifice the child, but he went up on the mountain. And in Genesis 22:12, it says, "Do not lay a hand on the boy," he said. "Do not do anything to him. Now I know that you do fear God, because you have not withheld me your son, your only son." Which sounds kind of familiar, because if you look in the New Testament, God does something really similar. And I think that that's pretty extraordinary. Doug, you have 4 boys. I don't know where you are, but you have 4 boys. Would you sacrifice any of them?
No.
Sorry,
I was just making sure the question was over.
Alright.
No.
Well, Abraham had 1 son, and he was willing to go up on a mountain with his son and sacrifice him to God. And in Joshua 6:25, Joshua is a guy that is that I hold to a high respect, because 1, he shares my name. 2, he listens to God without question. And does anybody know anybody named Rahab? Because everybody knows the story of Jericho. Whenever Joshua was going to take over Jericho, God said, "March around it 7 times, or 1 time a day, and on the last day 7 times, blow your horns, and it'll fall down." Well, not many people know the story of Rahab. Rahab, they sent in spies to check the city out, and Rahab was a girl who got around, and and that wasn't really right in that day or this day, and so, but she helped the spies anyways. It wasn't the priest or the holy man, it was the girl who got around. And she helped them into her house and said, "Please spare my family." They said, "All right, get them in your house when the walls fall down." And she did. And in Joshua 6:25, it says, "Joshua spared Rahab, the girl who got around, with her family and all who belonged to her, because she and the men of Joshua had sent spies into Jericho, and she lives among the Israelites to this day." The girl who got around, nothing to live for. She was the lowest of the low. Yet she helped God's people out of the kindness of her heart, and she was spared for it. She lived on the wall. And so if you imagine a giant wall, okay, she lived on top of the wall. And whenever it fell down, it was like, I imagine this huge pillar, and then her house at the top, with all this rubble and chaos around. And that's pretty extraordinary, that someone who had no reason to believe in God helped these spies, and immediately God saved her with mercy. In Job 1:21, Job is also a person that I love very dearly. I love the story of Job, because Job has had the best life. Oh man, he was living it up. He loved God. He was rich. He was pretty famous around town. And God, the devil came to God and said, or he said they were going to test him. The devil was going to test Job. And so God said, all right, you can do anything but touch him. So the devil did anything but touch him. He killed his family, livestock, basically ruined his life. And you know what Job says? He says, naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I will depart. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised. He lost everything. Everything but his wife and 2 of his friends, which after that, he lost his health and started having boils, and he was sitting in ashes and scraping boils off of a broken pot. That is rock bottom. I don't think anybody here has been to that rock bottom, but that is the rock bottom. And all that he gets from his friends and his wife is say, curse God and just die. Ease your suffering and just die. And he doesn't. He stays with God. And that is pretty extraordinary. Now, we go to Jesus. That is a guy that I think is pretty extraordinary, for obvious reasons. And hang on a second. Nathan, where are you?
Over here.
Alright, Nathan. Remember the thing I told you to do?
What?
Alright. What's your superhero's name?
Metal Man.
Metal Man. Alright. What's his main power?
The ability to create anything made of metal.
Cool. Does he beat up bad guys?
Yes.
Good. Alright, well, that's enough. Thank you. Now, I asked him to do this because, by a long shot, I think that Nathan is the most creative person in the camp, if not Spriga. Okay? And, Nathan, you have an amazing mind. Creative, everything. Awesome. Great. And in Mark 5:9 through 13, it says, then Jesus asked him, what is your name? My name is Legion, he replied, for we are many. And he begged Jesus again and again not to send him out of the area. A large herd of pigs was feeding on a nearby hillside. The demons begged Jesus, send us among the pigs, allow us to go into them. He gave them permission, and the evil spirits came out and went into the pigs. The herd, about 2,000 in number, rushed down the steep bank into the lake and were drowned. Jesus cast out demons. He healed the sick. Now we can come up, I love what Billy Whistle said. We can come up with a superhero that heals sick, that drives out demons, that feeds many. But what superhero do we make, can we come up with that is as humble as Jesus and as merciful? You never hear of Batman, of like the Joker saying, oh dude, please don't send me to jail. Please, just send me over there. And Batman never goes, okay, go over there and stay out of my way. No, he never does that. Jesus had mercy on demons. He had mercy on the things that were the exact opposite of him. He had mercy on the devil's workers. That is pretty extraordinary. If just Mark 5:9 through 13 was the only thing that talked about Jesus, I think that would be pretty good. That would be pretty awesome. That would be pretty extraordinary. And it's amazing how we can come up with these great, extraordinary figures, but we can't think of one that's humble and merciful It's always beating up the bad guys, getting justice. And Jesus had mercy on demons. He has mercy on us sinners. There's not a day goes by that I don't have a sinful thought or do a sinful action. There's not a day goes by that I don't do that. Yet, and I love Jesus. He's a great guy. I love him. But I still go against his will. And every day, every single day, there's 365 days in a year. 365 days of every single year that I've been alive, I've sinned. And God forgives me for that. No matter what you do, no matter what you say, think, God will forgive you if you ask for forgiveness. And that is pretty extraordinary.